that the message that you're receiving is the message that you're receiving. My message for myself this morning was that I do a lot for the collective. I do a lot for other people. So every day I'm writing that message, but if I'm going to miss a message, I'll miss my personal message. And that's not the way that we're supposed to do it, right? It's the self and what you're doing for the self that reflects out to everybody else. So the healthier that you are within yourself, the healthier that your relationships are, the healthier that your life is, the healthier that you are. It's a byproduct. So anyway, let's see what the message is that came out today. I got to move this keyboard out of the way though. It's too big, just in my space. All right. Sometimes the messages like basically give us some trouble. Sometimes it's some guidance, but I think of it like a message from a parent, right? The parent doesn't always, doesn't always see the things that you're doing and is okay with it. Sometimes it wants to guide you in a specific direction. Sometimes, there's a discipline that's required, but discipline is not meant to be punishment. That's where we've gotten it wrong. So these are just like a little bit of, hey, listen. All right. Look to nature for guidance on how to relate to others and how to take care of life. There are so many examples of how different species take care of others. A pair of ravens defends property from hawks and other airborne predators. And that protection covers not just other birds, but mice and gophers and other ground critters. If you go to a bird feeder, you will see how they share. Now, you will also see some disagreements. I have seen the tiny house wren dive bomb a squirrel to attempt to get it off the feeder. Days later, it's the squirrel scaring off some golden finches. At the end of the day, they come together and share, and the ecosystem thrives. Okay? The birds, sorry, I have to find my spot. The ecosystem thrives. The person manning the feeder isn't lying to the birds about the squirrel and then lying to the squirrel about the birds to drive more hate. In a normal ecosystem, it functions. It operates according to natural law. The birds and squirrels are not in competition. They know there is enough to go around. They don't inherently hate others. They live, they forage for food, they climb, run, fly, mate, have babies, take care of them, and the cycle continues. They protect themselves from the natural predators and elements. They do not live in hate or fear. They do not go and harm others just for fun. They rest when they can. They concern themselves with life, eating, sleeping, mating, procreating, and being. Nothing more, nothing less. They aren't trying to be the best. They aren't hurting others, trying to start a war, or hoarding all the food. They are focused on survival, but through the lens of life and living. We humans, unfortunately, are spending most of our time in survival mode, but we are not focused on life. We are focused on fear, lack, and wondering or worrying if we are going to make it. We are in a constant pace of more, then shut down or numbed out. If you put your attention on life and all the things that support it, your life will drastically improve. You will have taken your energy out of fear, lack, hate, and survival to life, the living, the basic and simple. All that stuff is just stuff to take you away from yourself, from living, from life. And when I was writing this, so part of the thing that I was talking about the channeling messages before, and how I get into state and stuff. And then I get, you get the message that's like, hey, it's a little bit of a correction. It's not punishment, but it's more of a corrective message. So in the case of writing this one here, I also wrote my message to myself today. And like I said, the message that I got was I tend to defer my message so that I can make sure that I get one for the collective, when maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe sometimes I need to focus more on writing the message for me and then moving beyond from there. And if I don't get a message for the collective, that's the one that misses out, but I get my daily message. But one of the things that I thought about when I was writing this too is that part, like I said, about trust. So if I get a message that comes in, and let's say it came in and it was talking about something like fusion stuff, okay? I'm not super aware and knowledgeable in fusion. I know of it, but I'm not super knowledgeable. So if that thought came in that the message was like, we're going to talk about fusion, or like something about that came in, I might hesitate with that message because I'll be like, I don't know anything about that. And that's where I can block myself. And it's all possible for all of us to either distrust what we're thinking, think that we're just making it up, or like I just said, where you're looking at the information that's coming in and you hesitate because you're like, I don't know anything about that. That's the whole point. That's how you know it's definitely a channeled message, because it's coming beyond your awareness, beyond your information. I try not to read anything until I deliver it to the audience. So I don't even know what this fully says, because when you're channeling, you're not conscious about the information that's going through your brain. That's why a lot of times if you're talking with somebody and they're in a channeling state, if you ask them what they were saying, they're like, I don't know, because their consciousness is kind of taking the back seat for that message to come through. All right, we're going to check on the cards. We're going to talk about a few other things. Please feel free to ask questions. I love interaction, right? I had this beautiful collective that I was building, and I was so proud of it in the early days when I started out, focusing primarily on trauma and mental health and healing, and returning to yourself. And back in those days, it was all mind, body, spirit, healthy self, right? There was a combination, because I realized, and that's why I left healthcare, is because I realized that healthcare was more like sick care, and and that they were missing significant components of what makes you healthy, right? We're not looking at what your sleep's like. We're not looking at what your social circle's like. We're not looking at what your traumas were like. We're not looking at what your diet's like. We're not looking at what toxins are in your life. We're not looking at how you live day to day to day. When you come into the hospital or into healthcare system now, it's, these are your symptoms. Okay, so then this is the medication, or this is the procedure. That's all. The end result is we need to take your symptoms, make a diagnosis, so then we can give you that other pathway. Right? You're just cute. I love it when trolls come on. Sorry, I was reading a comment, because what people like to do, I'm sure you get this too as well, Robert, but what they like to do is they like to show up on your feed and put something down in the hopes that you read it, and then it makes you say something, kind of naughty, or it's something that's just, disgusting. So I don't play around with this stuff. I just block people. Because I'm sorry, I'm not dealing with like that type of stuff. Right? And none of us should. I'm far beyond having disrespect or troll behaviors. I've been doing this online like this for 5 years now. So you get a little bit wise and you get a little bit also tired of dealing with some of the stuff. I'm sure you know that as well, right? In dealing with your channels. Carol knows I had I put up a thing one time about chemtrails, and I had so much hate from that post. It was absolutely insane. I did not think for 1 minute that putting a post up on that was going to end up resulting in that much hate towards me. Like, it was so bad. But that's when you're pushing on a pressure point, right? We know we're pushing on the truth when people are fighting, in that way against it, because the truth does not fear investigation, right? Okay. And thank you guys for liking the live. I appreciate you. We all know, anyone that's been on TikTok or on social media at all knows that there's a little bit of a popularity element, if you want to call it that, but there is the element of you need to have your collective engaging with your content. And if you're not engaging with your with my content, then they're going to be like, well, her friends don't even like her. We're not going to promote her to anybody else. And Carol can tell you, I love to teach and I have a lot of things to teach people. So come and hang out with me for sure. We're going to do the meditation today as well. Okay. I was like, that card had to come out because yesterday I decided that I was going to do, because I do timeless tarot, right? Like I have a bunch of different, I have four channels. It's not a free yes, no. I'm just doing a collective reading right now. But once I'm done with the collective, depending on the time, I may pull a couple cards or I may just talk about spirituality topics or healing topics. And then we're going to do the global meditation. So I do a global meditation for unity, peace, truth, and love. And as well to raise the harmonic of the collective. So you're free to stay around for that. It depends though, because my battery is actually quite low on that one because I forgot to charge it. So we'll see how much time I have. I have to watch my times on everything. Okay. The first card that came out was this one. And I decided yesterday that I was just going to put all my cards back together because a while ago I separated the deck into the 5 suits plus major arcana. And then I would just pull a card from each of the suits to get a message from each of the elements. I put it back together all as one and then decided I was just going to shuffle the cards and we would get one message, maybe from one of the elements or maybe from major arcana. And that would be the message of the day. This one was the one that wanted to come out that came out yesterday, but I didn't end up getting around to doing that reading online because I'd done a bigger one as well. So this one's important then. And it's the Page of Ether. So this is about new spiritual insights, the beginning of a powerful journey, messages from the higher self, and expansion of perception. That's significant, right? These are huge. And when we're looking at this particular card, because it's the Page of Ether, that means that we're in the beginning of the not the major arcana. We're in the beginnings of the royal suit. So these cards have a larger or a longer effect to them because of being a part of that royal suit. So the Page of Ether invites you to embrace the mysteries of the universe with an open heart. It is a card of spiritual initiation, marking the first steps towards mastery. Trust in the unfolding journey and know that the wisdom of the cosmos is revealing itself to you in perfect time. Right. And so we're learning stuff. That's the energy of that particular card is we are learning. Now, these 3 cards also came out with that card. We have the Ace of Air. So this is new, right? Aces are the beginning. They're the spark. They're the start. So this is the start of the journey or the start. The ace holds all the potential of the suit. So there's the potential of the King of Air, which would be the master of mind, the master of communication, right? Being very, very logical, very leadership as well. So that's what's the potential here, but we're just starting out. This means that we're finally getting some mental clarity, some new ideas, breakthroughs, intellectual mastery, and the truth is being revealed. So we want that clarity that we have, whether it's into ourselves, into life, into, how we're meant to live, what we're meant to do, our purpose, our passion. There's lots of things, right? The truth of what some people's motives are, the truth of what the upper echelons are doing, the truth about all kinds of things. That's what we should get. So we're looking for that clarity. And the Ace of Air reminds you that clarity is power. Embrace the truth, honor your mind, and move forward with the wisdom you now hold. The path is clear. Trust yourself. And if that's something that you haven't developed yet, then, maybe we should have a talk and see what I can do to help you develop your intuition, your discernment, or heal some of your traumas. I like how we've got a lot of newness here because, this is just the 2 of fire. And we also have the Magician, which is a 1. We have this one, and pages are technically a 1 as well. They would be 11, but that's a lot of 1s and 2s here, friends. All right. Two of Fire. Two of Fire is strategic planning, it's visionary leadership, it's collaboration, it's expansion, new partnerships, and the exciting beginning of a new journey. So again, new journey, again, newness, right? And this one here, we're running with our passion and purpose. Like this is where we're fired up. So there's a guidance, or there's a pull in that direction. The Two of Fire invites you to embrace the unknown, trust your instincts, and step boldly into your power. The fire is burning, and now is the time to act. And then we have the Magician, right? The Magician, the Alchemist, right? We are all the magician, whether we realize it or not. It's better to be the conscious magician versus the unconscious magician. Right? When we are the conscious magician, we understand that we create our reality because of our thoughts, our emotions, the words that we speak, the steps that we take, the beliefs that we have, the emotions that we feel. I know I'm probably going over them again, but it's worth it. So we are aware that we are creating our reality. So we're the conscious magician. The unconscious magician is still creating their own reality. They're just not aware of it. So they're not paying any attention to what their thoughts are. They're not looking at what their belief system is. They're not looking at the words that they speak over their lives or the emotions that they spend most of their time in. So they sit in fear, they sit in lack, and they don't realize that that's what's coming back to them, because that's the energy that they're magnetizing into the field. So we are on this side, we are the conscious. So we're manifesting. This is mastery, focused intention, using knowledge to create. This is aligning with divine will and taking action on inspired ideas and personal empowerment. You are the cosmic architect. The magician is here to remind you that you are not just a dreamer, you are a creator. And now is the time to step forward with confidence and shape the world with your vision and mastery. The universe responds to those who believe in their power. So do you believe in what you came here to create? Do you believe that you're capable of doing that? Are you taking steps every day to do it? I know I am. I've been taking these steps every single day for 5 years. And, I've now created, an education system. I have, the ascension, the pathway of ascension in the school of light, which is what Sha'Ryah is. So we've got a lot of education that's there to help to enlighten people. There's a lot there on healing. I do embodiment and nervous system specialist. I work with trauma. I write books. Like there's a ton of stuff there. So how are you showing up for yourself? This isn't about me talking about all the things that I've done. This is about me just cueing you in that there's passion and purpose and mission and stuff that we're meant to be doing. So are you walking that pathway? Are you taking steps along that road? And if you're not, why not? What's holding you back? All right? What's holding you back? All right, I read my letter of the day, my message of the day. I put my message of the day down. We talked about the collective energy. We know that we are creating new things and we're manifesting our reality and so on and so forth. Trauma workers know the job is rescue, not failure too. Well, it depends on which trauma, right? Like I've been in trauma for a lot of years because before I started doing my company, before I started Sha'Ryah, which would have been Mind, Body, Spirit, Healthy Self when I originally started it. But before I started that, I worked as a nurse for over 20 years. And I worked in Emerge. I worked in critical care. I worked looking after, those who experienced trauma, but different trauma. And then when I did my healing for, I'd been diagnosed with MS. Once I took time to do that healing, then I found out what I really had was a lot of trauma that was unresolved. And once I did that and worked on it, then that's what opened me up to, well, if I can heal myself, then other people can certainly heal themselves. Like I had an enormous amount of trauma, right? Like the first time that I got physically abused, I was 6 months old. My mom was an abused woman. So I was abused in gestation because she was abused as a pregnant woman. So I suffered her instability in my body as I was forming. Like I said, the first time I got physically abused was 6 months. The first time I got sexually abused, as early as we know, was around 2 years. Was moved over 50 times as a child. We moved all the time, sometimes in the middle of the night. I was talking in the one group that we have, the Balanced Self Sanctuary. I was talking about in that particular group yesterday about how, it happened more than once. Let's put it that way. It happened more than once where we would come home and all of our furniture would be gone because it got repossessed. So you'd go to school in the morning having a bedroom, and then come back from school and nothing, right? You're like, here's a mattress on the floor and a coffee table, or not a coffee table, but you remember those coffee table, what were they called? The ones that TV trays. Yeah, you'd have a TV tray and a mattress on the floor, and it'd be like, what's moneymakers, TikTokster? Right. We have to let those things, we have to understand what those experiences were so that we can move beyond them, right? We have to see them. What's moneymakers? Oh, tea. I didn't even turn my heater on, Carol. Oh, geez. Did you want... Oh yeah, my mom's tried to help out. Oh, that's the first mistake. I'm not a tarot reader. I do make my own tarot decks, my own tarot cards. I do use tarot cards. I do readings. I actually have them on my website, but that's not my main thing. That's just a part of a process as well, right? I like to help people. Isn't it? You know which one that one is, Michelle? It's a red-winged blackbird, and he's sitting on these trees over there, and he likes to call out to the girls at the pond. But he does have a very similar, that shriek is a very similar, I'm a hair conditioner model. That's it. I'm a hair conditioner model. Hello. Leslie's helping me out on the other side. I love it. No, I actually, I was a nurse for over 20 years, and I left nursing to help people with trauma and mental health after I went through my own healing journey, because I realized that healing was possible, but that the medical system wasn't concerned with helping people heal. It was more concerned with keeping you a repeat customer. And I learned that from being inside the medical system as a registered nurse of over 20 years, working in all different levels. But at the end, when I left, I was working as the director of nursing and senior management for a hospital in long-term care, looking primarily after the emergency department, acute care, and palliative. But I did also help with long-term care. I did education, IPC, which is infection prevention and control, and so much, some more. There was a lot. But when I did my healing journey and I understood like what was actually happening in society and how we weren't actually looking to heal anybody, we were looking to just keep them circling and on a medication. And then you get side effects and you need another medication. And then you get more side effects and you need another medication, and so on and so forth. They did a huge study. So one of the things that I learned in school, because I took university, was that and that was one of the reasons why they moved from a college nursing program to a university program, was the concept of we were getting taught how to critically think. And so while I went through school, that was a part of the foundation of our nursing program, was to teach you how to think, not what to think. And so I'm teaching that now through Sha'Ryah, and I'm delving into it a little bit more because, in nursing, we would have been taught how to think in the sense of, let's say somebody's doing a study on something. How many people are in the study, right? Because the larger the study, the more the results are conclusive, right? If it's a study of 5 people and they say, more than 50% were successful, well, that's 3 out of 5 people. right? That's not necessarily, a great number. So it all depends on the way that they report the numbers. So the type of study matters. The number of people that were studied matters. Whether it was a blind study, a double-blind study, what was the control group? What, like to know all the factors. So one is to understand everything about the study that's being conducted, and the other thing then is to look at who's paying for the study, who benefits from the study. Is it a named company that's owned by is it a shell company? Right? And that's oftentimes where people don't actually follow the line. They'll say, okay, well, the company that's doing it is, say, Pfizer, that wants the study. And, the person that's paying for it is, Procter and Gamble. Pfizer and Procter and Gamble aren't the same company. They're different. So then, okay, we'll give credence to it. But what they don't find out till later on is that maybe Procter and Gamble, and I used two names that I knew. I can't say that this is accurate, but you'll have company like Pfizer, and it'll have a company like LTD 11010268535. Like it'll have just some number after its name, right? And you're like, I don't know what that company is. Okay. But it's owned by that company that's the results are important for, right? They want the specific results. So we got taught to think critically, which is a significant and valid, is a very valuable thing, but most people don't get taught that, right? We just got taught that trust the science. How much do we get that jammed down our throat? Trust the science. Trust the science. Well, when I was doing some of my research, I came across a study, and this was one of the most conclusive studies that they had ever done on blood pressure medication. And I think, no, I almost had the name of it. It might come back. But this study that they did on this particular blood pressure medication, they tracked people for over 40 years. So the length of the study was a big check mark, right? Like everybody looked at this study and said, it's valid. It's valid because it was so long that they managed. And most of the people that entered into the study in the beginning completed the entire study. So really put a lot of validity into the results of the study because of the control group, the size of the group, the length of the study, all of it. So what they did, they were studying blood pressure, and they had all of these people that came in, and they, had all of the reasons why, all of the different things, right? So age, all of their statistics, their age. Hi, Justina. Hello. Thank you for the heart, love. So they had all the factors. They have all the factors written down. So the age, the sex, life factors, other life factors and stuff like that. And so this huge study. At the end of the study, what they found out about the blood pressure medication is that it did zero to change the length of someone's life. It did zero to change the quality of someone's life. It did zero to do anything. The only thing that the blood pressure medication did was meant that when the person died, they had lower blood pressure number. That's it. The only difference when they went for all the different factors, right? When they looked against age, they looked against sex, they looked against all of those things. The only thing that they found was that the people that died on blood pressure medication had lower blood pressure when they died. That was it. Didn't lengthen their lives, didn't improve the quality of it. In some cases, it probably actually decreased the quality of their lives. Because a lot of time we take blood pressure medication and then that leads to impotence for men. Or it leads to other situations, right, where it just decreases your libido. That can impact your life greatly. Great, you have low blood pressure, but, I don't think that's necessary. What do you think they are? Right, Brenda? It's big stuff. It's just right. I heard this one time from somebody, and it struck me, and I was like, that actually makes the most sense. Right? I when I speak of myself, I speak of myself in terms of I and me. That's my pronouns. I and me. When somebody else speaks to me, that's when they use pronouns. So you go ahead, you use whatever you feel you want to use for me. I could care less, because my opinion of myself or my view of myself is not formed out of what you think. It's formed out of what I know. So you can call me a he, you can call me a she, you can call me whatever the heck you want. I just don't accept or receive anything, right? It's just silly. When we look at it at the end of the day, right? When we look at it at the end of the day, exactly. You might not, you might have a boost in your mood, but you're going to have no, exactly. So the medication, sometimes the side effects that you get from the medication are far worse than the medication that you're taking. And if the medication isn't curing you, right, you're just on it it's, for the rest. Ooh, who was it? There was a study. Hang on. Let me think. I have to get the information. It's in my head. I'm trying. There was a guy. It was something like he was on medication and he took too much of it. That's what it was. Oh my God. This is a beautiful way to prove the brain, the power of the brain. Okay, so this is a fascinating study. So this dude, he was prescribed, he was in a study, right? But in this study, he was given this antidepressant. We'll call it an antidepressant because that's what we're talking about. And he was taking it and he decided that he wanted to, and so he tried to take all of them. When they took him to the hospital, he was like dying. When they checked his chart, they realized the dude was on the placebo. He wasn't actually taking anything. They were just sugar pills. And once they told him that he was not, like, those pills can't do anything to you. Once they revealed that to him, he was fine. He stopped dying. His body was dying because his belief was so that he took a whole bottle of antidepressants that was going to kill him. That his body was agreeing to that and was doing it. Like it's so huge. Like it's such a significant study. That's why they have placebos, right? Yeah. Once they told him that he was in the control group and he was receiving a placebo, he was never actually getting the antidepressant, and that sugar pill could not in any way create that. He was fine. His body's recovered completely. It's just insane. I got chills just talking about it. That's how powerful our minds are. Like, it's so incredibly powerful. I like how Carol came over here. She's like, well, she's going to keep looking at that one. I'm coming over there. I know this one had more people on it in the beginning, so I was focusing on it. And plus, you're so good at tapping on the screen and giving loves. You're just giving loves to both accounts. I love you. Carol and I hung out yesterday in the Balanced Self Sanctuary. And if you are not aware of what this particular group is, it's a beautiful membership space that is for those who are on their healing journey, that would like a supportive group where you actually learn really valuable things that can support your healing journey, and practical tools that you can use, which I find is the problem, is most often we're just blocked from it, right? We're blocked from it. I lost where I was going with that. My I love you, sweetheart. So yesterday in the Balanced Self Sanctuary, we talked about, do you remember, Carol? Do you remember what I talked about yesterday? Internal, it was about internal safety over external safety. That's what it was about. Understanding the difference. That's what it was. Understanding the difference between external and internal safety. I think just like, sometimes you just get that where my brain's going really fast and it's a little bit ahead of me. Hi, Lakush. Hola, ¿cómo está? Oh, buenos días. Mm. Thank you for keeping me poquito. Yeah, poquito, little bit, little poquito. I need to practice more. I don't have someone to practice with day to day. So I haven't been there in almost 2 years now. Poco. Sí, un poco, un poco. So yes, that's what we were talking about yesterday in the group. And you're in Costa Rica. Oh, I miss it. So many birds and flowers and butterflies and sunshine and water and green, and you can grow vegetables year round. And Mexico would do too. Mexico would do too. That's a lot of beauty in Mexico as well. My whole goal at the end of the day is to be in a place where it's warm enough I can grow vegetables year round, so then I can grow my own food. Like that's my thing. I want to grow my own food. All right. So we meet bi-monthly in that group, and each meeting is when we look at what we've covered so far, right? Like we started off with what did we start off with? Trying to think, what did we start off with in that? Carol, help keep me on point, please. Carol's like, I don't remember. She teaches me far too many things. So that's what it is. We started, remember last week we did the window of tolerance, and I remember that because you really liked that one. So the window of tolerance. What else did we learn? We learned that safety begins in the body, and we learned about triggers. Those were the last 4. That's all I'm doing, 4 of them. So we learned about safety being in the body. We learned about triggers, like understanding our triggers. We learned about the window of tolerance. And then we learned about what we learned about yesterday, internal safety versus external safety. So we meet in those groups twice monthly. And we have a second group as well that Carol meets in as well, and it's called the Embodied Leadership Circle. But that one's more for the awakening, if you've stabilized your awakening journey. And so those 2 groups are available. But we met in that yesterday, and I was looking for what our next groups meetings are for August. So one's earlier in the month, and then the other's later in the month. So one will be anywhere between the 1st and the 10th of the month, and the second one ends up being around the 20th to the 30th of the month. So we spread them out in that type of way. I'm just looking for where my note is on my next classes. Actually, I've already created the pictures for them. So if I go look at the pictures, then, all right, so balance, self, sanctuary. The next live is about the stories we tell ourselves, how your inner dialogue shapes your nervous system. And then on the the next live, we are going to talk about self-trust is built, not found, learning to trust yourself again. So those are the lives that are scheduled for the Balanced Self Sanctuary in August. And then we have for the Embodied Leadership Circle, Courage Over Comfort, Leading When the Path Isn't Present, as our first live. And then our second live is Influence Begins with Presence, Leadership Without Control. So those are the events that are coming in the membership spaces in Sha'Ryah. The 3rd week of October, no, not October, August, the 3rd week of August, I'm going to be doing return to center, which is our 7-day, course of coming back to the present moment, returning to yourself, returning to clarity, all of that. It's a 7-day it'll be self-paced after you have it, but it's a 7-day course. So I'm going to do a live run through the 3rd week of August, I believe is when I'm planning to do that. And then return to self, which is the big program that I do. This is the big trauma healing program. It's 8 weeks with 12 sessions in those 8 weeks. And that is beginning in September. And I believe I'm going to start it on September 2nd. So it'll run for 8 weeks so that you are returned to center before that December season hits us, right? So you're free of education. September and October, I think, are 2 beautiful months to do education. Right? The kids go back to school if you have any. We're typically in our mindsets thinking school starts in September. So you can do 8 weeks of healing courses, returning to yourself, peeling back the layers, getting good practical tools in place to help guide you. And this, it's not, I don't want to focus on it as a big healing thing. I want to focus on it or look at it more as, like a journey returning to yourself, where we're just peeling back all the stuff that got put on us through all of those traumas. And that's all we really are doing. You're returning to who and what you are, and peel and letting go of, like, I was an overachiever. I was a perfectionist. I was type A personality. I was go, 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 do, be, just busy. Because when I stopped, I had to be with my emotions. I had to be with my thoughts. I had to sit with those things, and they were pretty overwhelming and scary at one point, to me anyway. And so, we need to we're just realizing that I don't have to be that overachiever, right? So you get to put that label down, or you get to peel that mask off, or you realize, hey, I'm in this relationship with this person, and I'm in it because I'm afraid to be alone. Or because I've attached my self-worth to relationships. I did that for a while too. I did it all. That's why, everything that I do and I share is stuff that I've done for me. And it's either worked or I've seen it work in other people. So there's value to it, right? Not every breath work is a breathing format that you're going to enjoy or want to do. Some people absolutely hate cold therapy. Some absolutely hate the heat. So some will never put themselves in a sauna, and some will never put themselves in an ice dunk. And that's fine. That's not for you. Why force yourself into a situation to have to do that? And I've started thinking, we're always in these extremes, like pushing our nervous system or, doing all of these things to the extremes. There's nothing wrong with going in the middle range. We don't have to have the hottest temperature of water or the coldest temperature of water. It's okay to have a warm shower, just slightly warm shower, and then rinse off with just slightly cool, but not hot and then cold, right? Like don't be afraid to not be in extremes. Okay. All right. What did you guys want to talk about? Do you guys have any questions? And if not, then we can look at starting our, kinda. I teach embodied spirituality. Okay. So what I teach is I teach you to be the sovereign. I teach you to have your own authority over your life, right? Ascending happens through a variety of ways, right? So I was talking with my son this morning, and I said to him that, the patterns that we see in our lives, we're seeing them for a reason. We're seeing them because when it comes back around, it's like, hi, remember me? And you're like, I'm in this experience again. Why is this here again? Well, that's because you didn't evolve beyond it. Or if you have, this is the one time that is coming around to see if you're going to respond the same way. And when you respond differently, you don't see that anymore. You don't need to see it anymore. It's cleared, it's done, it's completed, you finished it. Now, some of us will see ascension, and we'll talk about it through the window of symptoms, right? That you may be, you might be maybe dealing with some headaches or fatigue or, flu-like symptoms. Sometimes you can get really walloped by the stuff that you're experiencing. Remember that we're processing energy that we've stored in our bodies for a long time as we're awaking or as we're ascending, as we're healing, because healing is a part of the ascension process. Some people come into ascension through the window of learning information and opening their eyes to the truth of the world, but not really looking inward yet. Other people come at it from the other way. They're like, I know me. It begins with me. There's stuff that I need to do. I need to do healing. So we start with our healing journey. And as we're going through the healing journey, that's when we often open our eyes to the reality of what's going on around us. So the ascension, to me, you'll know that you're in ascension because you don't see the same day repeating day after day after day after day. You see yourself taking little steps in like a spiral. You may see it again, but you're going to see it from a higher perspective. And we should all be concerned with seeking the truth, right? We all should. I don't understand why people aren't. I've never understood that. I'm not someone that's comforted with a lie. I want to know the truth, and I'd rather not like the truth. I'd even rather not like the truth than maybe even not be able to do anything about it, but at least know the truth, right? Rather than be told a lie and be blinded to what's going on or to pacify myself with that. I just would much rather know the truth. Right. And that's our awakening process. And that's what many of us came here to do. We came here to seek the truth, find the truth, and then oppose what that showed us. Right. I talk about this in small circles, but I also talk about it in larger circles as well. And hi, Cosmic. How are you, love? There's a group of primates that live in a specific space. And these primates are a matriarch. They've been a matriarch as long as science has been studying them, at least. And in this tribe of primates, a male primate did something very bad to a child primate. And I'm sure you can imagine, because there's a lot of files around that are talking about those types of things. They're talking about like how that happened, or the files are talking about the things that men do to small babies or children. And this is the same thing that happened with these primates. The females dismembered that male primate in front of everybody in the group and said, if that's what's going to happen to you if any of you do that again. If anybody thinks to try that. And that's how we're supposed to be as a society. We're supposed to be like, that is something that's absolutely appalling. That is something that's absolutely against life. And we're supposed to stand up and say, no, you cannot. I'll look it up. Oh, shoot, I covered that up again. Sometimes I do that and then I forget. I'll look it up and see if I can share the actual, and I'll share it on my channel as a reel or something at that point. Now I have to ask, there's 4 viewers that are on this device here. Let's see if I can set it up. Unfortunately, my battery needs to charge. So I'm going to see if I can set it up to charge. I tried to go late today so that I could charge it up. I forget that because I have my live so early on Saturday and I do all my content in the morning. Then by the time I'm done doing my content, I've drained the battery on this and I'm like, oh no, oh no. Let me see here, guys. I'll have to see if I can find some things to balance it with. Ooh. That'll work as soon as I do that. Yeah, Saturday. If it's not, wake me up. If it's not Saturday, wake me up. Okay, I ended up bumping my keyboard, which look at this. We'll get it figured out, guys. I just have to prop up. I just have to find another, I'm propping you up with crystals. Are you? Oh, wait, hang on. We got to get another crystal on the other side of the device. Oh, wait, that might work there. Kinda. Oh, nope. We're going to get it figured out. I promise. Ooh, maybe that'll work. That would be cute if it does. Close enough. Saturday in the park. I love it. Hi. This is not a dating site. Just putting that out there for you, love. I don't do that for people. This is not a dating site. This is not a hookup site. I'm not, looking for that. I don't think the people here are looking for that. I think they're here to talk about, healing and awakening and maybe do a global meditation, which we're going to get to right shortly here. I'm going to pop out really quickly because I realized I forgot my music. So I have to grab my device so I can play music. But if you give me 1 minute, I'll be right back here and we can pretty much get started with our meditation. Like we'll get towards that. And I'll see if I can find out that study because sorry, I'm searching for it really quickly. So in February of 2025, a coalition, and it was only 5 of the matriarchs, and they were bonobos in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, brutally attacked and killed. A male named Hugo after he attempted to harm an infant. Yep. They kicked his butt. He was aggressive toward the infant of one of the attacker, and the attack lasted approximately 25 to 30 minutes, leaving Hugo with disfigured facial figures, loss of hair, and missing toes. He has been missing since the events, and scientists believe he died from his wounds. And it says that the event challenges the stereotype of the bonobos as pacifist. They're demonstrating that while they are generally peaceful, females use coordinated violence to maintain social order and protect offspring. Yeah, that's crazy. But like the women just protect the babies, protect the babies. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to go get my thing. I'm going to run to the ladies' room really. Exactly. We're pacifists, but don't mess with the vulnerable. And that's how we're supposed to be as a society, by the way. Like we really are. We're supposed to protect life. We're supposed to protect the vulnerable. And we're not doing that right now. We're not. So give me 1 second to go get my music player and to go to the ladies' room. And I'll be right back. But stick with it. This is charging. So we'll leave it charging and then we'll have some life left. And then when we get back here, we'll be able to do the meditation. Okay. So if you want to run to the bathroom or get yourself prepared, that would be a good idea too. We'll start probably 5 minutes-ish, 11, around there. That was close. That little verification thing. This is why I wait this long before I start the meditation, is because we have these little puzzles that you have to fill in. And I don't, because sometimes when I'm doing my meditation, I close my eyes and go within as well. And if I do that and then that thing comes up, I could end up losing you all. And it would be like, bye-bye. Hello, I'm back. I'm back. So we're going to do the meditation now. That's the what I said I was coming back, and we were going to head into that. We can talk for certain. If you have any questions, definitely do not hesitate to ask. What else can I say? What can man do? What you smelling, boo? Just looking for not that. So are you ready to meditate? Are you ready to put your energy together so that you can collectively help the whole collective? Yeah. I'm hiding my thing on myself. Sometimes I do that. I fed my birds and squirrels. We're ready to go. I love it. In God we trust. Very interesting. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Where is it? That's it. All righty. Oh, that's what it was. I'm like, I totally left the music out of the room. Oh, that's hilarious. I am just shaking my head at myself. Shaking the whole way as I went there. Oh my God, I can't believe you forgot the whole reason you went out there. But on a side note, I have a fresh tea. Apparently that just was more important. Right? It's the most important thing. Hello, hello. All righty. I like that 4.4 on that one. I'm going to give myself a little bit of likes. Let's get searching for some copyright-free music. And let's see. Somebody's messaging me, someone I care about. Hang on a second. Oh, okay. Yes, welcome, welcome. We love having all of you here. New people are always welcome. So we're going to do a meditation, and the meditation that we're going to do is a global meditation for peace, unity, love, truth, and raising your vibration to the highest timeline. Okay. When I do this meditation, I do toning. So you'll hear me do things like ah and om and stuff like that. So be prepared. I don't want to surprise you or startle you. I think that's the one thing that gets me when I'm meditating is when there's some sudden noise that I'm not prepared for, and that can be startling. And I don't want to startle you in your meditation. I want you to have a nice, peaceful meditation. Okay, we do this. Oops, I forgot that I had my keyboard. I'm just moving my keyboard out of the way, and then I'll set that back up again. All this having to charge it while we're doing this is creating a little bit of a... I didn't charge my device enough before the live. So cool. I'm not afraid of spiders. I have a relationship with them, Brad, but thanks. Yeah, I have no problem with spiders whatsoever. The other day I found one that was on the floor coming between my bedroom and towards the bathroom. And I went down and I looked at him and I said, hey, you and I got an agreement. You know when I'm awake, and just come out when I'm not. So get back in there, or I'm throwing you outside. Yeah, we don't do that here. Sorry. I don't know who you think I am or even who you are, but we don't do that here. I'm not somebody that's here to play your games to entertain you. I'm actually here to teach you and educate you. And that's that. So I just block people now and just get them out of here. I ain't got time for that childish, silly stuff, right? All right, so we are going to be doing a meditation. Like I said, this meditation is for unity. It's for peace. It's for unity. It's for love. It's for truth. And it's to raise your vibration to the highest harmonic. And that includes for Mother Gaia. So we're doing this as a collective for the collective. Okay, we do this every Saturday. We do this meditation. Okay, and I found exactly what I was looking for, so we are good. All right, oops. I have one thing left to do, and it's because I end up closing off the comments for this particular live here. There, perfect. We're good. We're golden. All right, so the only thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you are in a safe space to be able to do a meditation where you can close your eyes and really just let everything around you fade away. If you're in a position where you need your eyes for any reason, or you need to keep your awareness around you because of the things that are around you, then don't do the meditation now. Go and check my YouTube channel. The recordings are all there. Yes, please no driving or heavy equipment or anything like that, right? The other thing that I'm going to, and the same thing with your device. Now, the reason why I always tell people to put their device in a safe space or in a good space is because when I'm meditating, there's a number of times, I'll use this is perfect. There's a number of times I'm holding my phone, like if I was holding my phone meditating, where I might just go and just drop my hand, right? So I just don't want you damaging your device. So make sure you're safe, your device is safe, and we're going to get ready. And hi, Bella, how are you? It's been so long. Nice to see you, love. Okay, we are getting ready to do our meditation. So do remember that throughout the meditation, I am going to be doing toning. So you will hear that more extended tones of things throughout. So don't be surprised by that as you're meditating. All right, welcome. Welcome. Today we gather not to impose, not to control, and not to override free will, but to become coherent, harmonic resonance within the living field. We gather in peace, we gather in love, we gather in truth, and we gather in unity. May this meditation serve all willing and consenting beings, Mother Gaia, all non-speaking life in harmony, and the highest timelines available to each soul in accordance with divine law. Now, take a breath in and gently close your eyes. And exhale nice and slow. Allow yourself to settle into that space that comes up as you extend your exhale. Repeat that breath nice and deep in through the nose, into your tummy, up to your chest, and then a gentle exhale that's just a bit extended, more than normal. We're going to do it one more time. I like at least 3 of these nice deep breaths to get you really comfortable. The sounds around you should be decreasing as you become more present within yourself. Before we transmit outward, we stabilize inward. Feel your body. Feel the surface you're seated upon. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel the breath moving through your body. Now relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. And relax your belly. There is nowhere to force yourself to be. Your nervous system is part of the meditation. Now bring awareness to your heart center. Within your heart center is a gold black still point at the center of space. Visualize this luminous point of stillness in the center of your chest. A point before thought. Before fear. Before separation. This is the still point, the eternal center. I'm going to begin toning now. Allow the tone to move through your body like a wave of peace. Now visualize 2 spheres of light overlapping, one above, one below. Spirit and matter. Heaven and earth. Self and source. Where they meet, the Vesica Pisces forms. The almond shape. This is the geometry of birth, of creation, of union, of coherence. Allow the field to soften. Allow the heart to open naturally. Now the Vesica Pisces begins expanding outward, forming the flower of origin. Living geometry. Harmonic symmetry. The architect of interconnected life. See every circle connected, every being connected, every life influencing life. Now we send harmony through the emotional waters of humanity and Gaia. See ripple rings moving outward across the earth, through oceans, through hearts, through nervous systems. No force, no control, only harmonic invitation. Now, from the center of the flower of origin, a rose spiral emerges. This emerald gold rose geometry expands from the heart, the harmonic geometry of love. Not attachment, not possession, not emotional control, but coherent love, stable love, living love. May all willing hearts remember coherence. Now visualize a golden Merkaba surrounding your body. Two interlocking tetrahedrons spinning in perfect harmony. And don't worry if you can't visualize it. It's happening as it should. Now see this sacred geometry surrounding the earth itself. Beautiful golden tetrahedron facing upwards, nestled in a tetrahedron facing downwards. And see this beautiful golden Merkaba spinning. The planetary light body stabilizes. Now we anchor into Gaia. Visualize golden crystalline roots descending into the earth from your root chakra. Feel your energetic roots descending into the earth, into crystal, into soil, into water, into stone, into the mycelium network, connecting into the nervous system of Mother Gaia. May Gaia stabilize into her highest harmonic expression, as well as any willing and aligned beings. Now above the earth, see a canopy of stars, ancient suns, living consciousness, cosmic memory. May all willing hearts remember their place within the living cosmos. We're going to tone through each of those tones one more time. Om. Visualize the earth stabilizing in concentric harmonic light. Feel the field settling. Feel peace without fear. Feel love without attachment. Feel unity without assimilation. Feel fear, feel feel truth without fear. Feel truth without fear. May all transmissions offered today serve only the highest good, divine love, divine truth, divine law, and the sovereign evolution of all willing beings. May Mother Gaia be supported in her highest harmonic expression. May all life move forward toward greater coherence, peace, and remembrance in accordance to its own sacred path. And so it is. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose, down into your tummy. Fill yourself up nice and full before exhaling. And as you exhale, feel your feet. Take another breath in, all the way in and up into your chest. And then a long exhale. And as you exhale, feel your seat. On your third and final deep inhale and exhale, bring your awareness to your heart space. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your nose, and open your eyes when you're ready. And there we are. I had to itch my nose after wiggling it. Welcome back. How did you enjoy that? And so it is. Exactly. Highest harmonic expression for all involved. Mother Gaia, all willing and unwilling, all willing life. Sorry, not all unwilling. You know, I was processing through the concepts. You know, like we have all these spiritual things that we talk about and that we do and stuff like that. Oh, I love you. Thank you so much for the gift, sweetheart. You know, when we sit there and we go, every morning I connect to my spirit team. And when I connect to my spirit team, I give gratitude and thanks. And then I give them full authority to intervene. Aww. Thank you, Bella. When I get, and I usually say, like, I give you full authority to intervene, with harm to, like, for the good of all and harm to none, right? That statement. And then it was like, but who are we to judge what harm is, right? Like, somebody might feel that if you get a position over them, that you have harmed them because you got, you did an interview and were awarded the job and they weren't. To them, the fact that you got the job, that could in turn be interpreted as harm. So I started looking at how I was saying those things and being like, it's not about harm to none. It's not about that. It's about, I'm not violating anybody else's free will. That's really where the harm ends. I'm not violating any person's free will, and I am not applying force to them. That's a better way to put it. I'm not putting force on that individual. But I'm going to look into how to say that. And then I'll release these, what I say in the morning when I connect with my spirit team, and I'll put that out there. But I just want to make sure that it's actually aligned, right? Because that's what caught me this morning. I was like, well, if I'm saying harm to none, if I got an interview at a job company and I said, if this job is for me, for the good of all and harm to none, well, that's kind of pretty open, because harm, unless we're looking at, so I looked at divine truth, maybe whatever is in accordance with divine truth and divine laws. But yeah, I'll work on that, and then I'll give you guys an idea about what to say with that. How are you doing, Bella? It's been a while, so I'd love to catch up. How are you doing? You should come and hang out with Carol and I. I think you would absolutely love our membership space. Yeah. And it's not about violating anybody else's, but like the harm part, do you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if how many times we're blocking ourselves because that term is too open-ended. And if you think about it, like in myself, I probably would have thought that the things that happened to me as a childhood were very harmful. And yet we may be assigned for that, right? And you need my course. You need my course, Bella. It's a 7-day course. I'm doing it in August. It's called Return to Center. I wonder if we can do that. Pin. Yeah. Yeah, it was formerly, like I have it as a, yeah, it is. I have it currently as a standalone. So it's one that, you can purchase and you can work through it at your own speed. The course is 10 days in length right now, and that's why I'm rerunning it live. I run it live 4 times a year. Carol took the 10-day course. With the 10-day course, that's the one that's recorded on my site right now. That one there, you get like around 20 practices that help to return you to your center, to the present moment, to groundedness, to the truth, to clarity. Because that's what happens when we come back into the moment, into ourselves, is more clarity. Feeling more groundedness in your body, being more connected to your intuition or your discernment, able to make decisions that are more aligned. All of that happens when we return to our center. So this was, like I said, a 10-day course. But when Carol and I went through it, at that point, I was kind of like, because the other people were there, but I'm just speaking because Carol's here. So when Carol and I went through it on the 10-day portion, I felt like that might be just a little bit long for people. And so I've shortened it to 7 days. So you could join me live, have an accountability partner for 7 days straight, which might not be a bad idea. Or you can purchase it the 10-day now and take the 10-day, get the 20, at least 20 practices that are there that go with the PDF, and get that one. Or you can wait until this one's recorded and then replaces that one and becomes the one that is just the standing one. When I shorten it to 7 days, totally up to you. After that, in September, I'm running Return to Self. Now, Return to Self is my bigger program. This is like for someone that seriously wants to heal through their trauma, through their, it's the journey back to yourself, to stop hiding behind masks or to, stop running away from your life, or to, stop avoiding and numbing out. Like, this is to return you to yourself so that you are walking into an embodied life where you are in control and taking, you're making directions for yourself, as opposed to just allowing life to happen to you. You become the driver of your own life. So that's the Return to Self course. The Return to Self course is 8 weeks. I'm going to be running it every September and October. Those will just be the time frames that the course will be run. That way there, anyone that wants to do some healing, children go back to school if they have little kids, and it's before the Christmas and even like the big holiday seasons for anybody that still, does those things. So I figure September and October is the perfect time. So it'll just be every year. So if you want to do trauma program with me, that healing stuff, you're going to have to take that in September and October, or do individual sessions, or join the Balanced Self Sanctuary, where you can come and hang out with us twice a month. And in those lives like this, so far we've covered the window of tolerance. We've covered feeling safe in your body. We've internal versus external safety is what that course was on. The window of tolerance, understanding your triggers, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of beautiful lives that are recorded and available in that group. So if you join the group, you get access to all the recordings, and then you can step into the next live that we have. So I've made that really reasonable. It's $44.44 per month, Canadian. Like, we're one of the cheaper fees as well. So it's $44.44 per month Canadian. And if you want to just take the live session, you can do a drop-in rate of $22.22 because there's 2 lives per month. So you're basically paying half the fee of what the group membership cost is. So that's for people that maybe can't afford the $44.44, but can find $22 to attend one, and they see one session that's coming up and they're like, yeah, I'd like the information from that. But yeah, there's a lot more that gets provided in the group space, which is why it makes it more valuable to actually have the membership. And then you get both lives every month, no problem. And I am setting that schedule up now. So we typically go live the early on in the month on the Wednesday, and then later on in the month on the Thursday. So we alternate between the Wednesday and Thursdays. Because in the other group I have, which is the Embodied Leadership Circle, that one's for people who have done their healing and are looking to walk the walk, talk the talk, beyond their mission, beyond their pathway. They're living the way is what it is. They want help. They want that little guidance and instruction on living the way is what that is. So that group is the same structure. You get 2 lives. It's $44.44. If you want to drop into either one of those sessions, you can do a drop-in. The drop-in rate is $22.22. That way there, the members, they get the bonus of all the other stuff. But I don't block people from being able to enjoy those sessions because they're really, really powerful sessions. I'm actually going to take one of the sessions that I've recorded in the last couple of months from each of the groups, and I'm going to share that publicly to show people this is the type of lives that we do in these particular groups, so that you understand what you're looking or what it looks like. But the other thing is if you have any questions about anything, you can just head on over to my website and book a free clarity call, or you can send me an email, or you can ask me questions through any one of my social media channels, and I will respond to you as quickly as possible. A couple other notes that I'll go through. My nonprofit, Hugs for Homeless. If this was turned just a little bit, it'd see it better. If I wasn't in the way, it'd pick it up better. Hugs for Homeless. This August, we are doing a backpack drive. So we are hoping to get 300 backpacks minimum in July. Each backpack costs $100. So this is not a small goal. This is a huge goal, but that is our goal. So 300 backpacks. We want to get them into the hands of those who need them the most. Obviously, that's in the unhoused communities. We are out of Alberta, so when we are getting these backpacks out into the communities, we are starting with Edmonton, which is the city that has the largest homeless population, and then we'll move beyond that as we get more and more backpacks. So 300 backpacks. That's the drive that we have for August. I'm talking about it now to try and get a whole bunch of information in that. Nice. Where about? Are you like like around one of the big cities like Edmonton or Calgary, or are you in one of like in the outlying areas around those bigger cities? Yeah, I used to be in Ontario, but I moved out here last year. I'm in the outlying. I am closer to Edmonton than Calgary, much closer, but yeah, same. We can communicate in messaging. You can message me and we'll talk privately. I don't like saying on here either, although TikTok gets you to pick where you are when you're sharing your stuff out. So I mean, they know the area I'm in, they just don't know my exact address. But yeah, it'd be nice to figure out how close, because there is a time when I am going to probably be hosting like public, like private, like things here, like come and hang out with me for the day or for the weekend or for the night or something. I'm thinking about like what types of services that I can offer for that type of situation, because I think it'd be fantastic to have live sessions, like even if it's a weekend and you bring your tent and pitch it. Yeah. And then we'll have other announcements to make too, because we'll see. I'm trying to get stuff together so that we can set up a walkathon, right? So that Carol, I know, honey, you need your passport so you can come. You need your passport so you can come. Yeah. Yeah, I think about doing that, about hosting, because I think like how cool it would be to do in-person things. I've done so much online. It's been such a weird thing. But when you think about, there's all kinds of places that are putting on events and having in-person things and stuff like that. Right. And it'd be nice to get into that, like to be a part of that, a part of one that even somebody else, like some collective, is putting on. I do have an opportunity to be a part of something called the Wealthy Women's Collective. And this is a group dedicated to successful women, business entrepreneurs, stuff like that. And it's a one-stop shop for all their needs. So, some business owners may need an accountant. Some business owners want a nervous system specialist. Some want, whatever. So they're building this directory of experts. So I have an opportunity to be a part of that. I'm just not 100% sure yet. I'll keep you posted in that direction. If I do end up choosing to do that or to go down that avenue, I'll let you know about that for sure. So yeah, the next things that are coming up for me is, like I said, Return to Center should be the 3rd week of August, but I'm going to put the dates up and get all of that scheduled in. Probably tomorrow evening, I should have the calendar done. And then I'm going to be scheduling the lives for August. So even though I have the concepts of what we're covering in August done, for the two classes, or the two membership spaces, I haven't put them on the calendar yet. So if you're looking to drop into one of those spaces, you won't be able to do that until I get up into the events page at Sha'Ryah. So when you're joining it as a one-off, you're just purchasing an event. If you're purchasing the membership space, then you go in and purchase the membership space, and then you can access the lives through there. Balanced Self Sanctuary is for those, like I said, who want a supportive environment that can be an adjunct to therapy, or that can be just supportive. Maybe you've done some healing and you want some more support along the way. We cover a variety of topics. The next live that we're doing in that particular group is called The Stories We Tell Ourselves, how your inner dialogue shapes your nervous system. And then the second live that we're doing in the Balanced Self Sanctuary later on in the month is going to be Self-Trust is Built, Not Found. And it's all about learning to trust yourself again. When we're looking at the Embodied Leadership Circle, our first live of August is going to be Courage Over Comfort leading when the path isn't certain. Right? I love it. And also the second live of August is influence begins with presence, leadership without control. Yay, you did fantastic. I bet you locked in about 7,000 of those likes minimum. Hi, Lakush. Okay, so those are the 4 lives that I'm putting on next month for each of those different groups. If you're interested in those, like I said, you can either join them as a one-off through the events page, which I'll have those up later today, or sorry, later Sunday. So you can check on them on Monday, and they should be up on the website. Or you can join the membership spaces and get both lives and just be a part of that membership space and get all the extras that are in there as well. And honestly, if you went in that group, either one of those group, there's enough content to keep you busy for quite a while, just catching up on all the information that's been put in there so far. So that's the Balanced Self Sanctuary for Healing, the Embodied Leadership Circle for Awakening. That's the 2 different membership spaces. And if you want a free space, then check out the Temple of Light. That's the entryway. The entryway is completely free. Just come on in, hang out in the Temple of Light. Then you know that you have access to me no matter what happens to my socials, and you get extra information. And there's so much stuff in the Temple of Light. Like I was posting in there in a ridiculous amount in all the groups, and I have just slowed down recently. I think even Carol was like, I just can't keep up. There's too much stuff, too much information, too much knowledge. So definitely check out those membership spaces if you have any questions about either return to center or return to self, which are the next 2 courses that I'm running. One's 7 days, the other is 8 weeks. So there's a significant difference in what these are providing to you and also the cost. So definitely, if you're looking at either one of those and you have any questions, just shoot me off an email or a message on any of my socials, or send me or set up a free call and we can talk. For those that are following me, Edie, hello, love. For those who are following me in the nonprofit space, August backpack drive, 300 backpacks. We got it, guys. We've got it. 300 backpacks. You know, that's doable. It's completely doable. I believe in us. I believe we can get them together, and we can fulfill that. We can 300 individual people's lives better who are unhoused and living on the street. Like, how powerful is that? How are you doing, Edie? How's everything going? Long time. I'm going to check your moderator rights and just make sure that all of your moderator rights are where they need to be. Okay. Perfect. Hey, Ms. Bella, I just pulled up Carol's, and Carol's thing says 6669. You were saying sixes again. 6666. 11,000. Tired but good. Aw, I'm great. I'm going to be putting on a course 3rd week of August, around there. I'll post the dates this week. I'll post exactly when it is, because I'm going to be filling in my schedule tomorrow so that it's all completely updated. But the course is called Return to Center. It's 7 days. So they're little 35, 45 minute, hour at most sessions for 1 week straight. We meet every day. If you don't meet it, the replay is available. There's a PDF that has a ton of bonuses that are going to be accompanying the class, the 7 days. So they're just to bring you back to your center, to return you back to your body, to return you to the present moment, to get you to the point of clarity, because once you're back into yourself, it's going to bring you back into clarity, right? I love it. How beautiful. How beautiful. You got to love the synchronicities, right? When the synchronicities are hanging out. I love it. I love it. All right. So I've been on here just around an hour and a half, because I was a little bit late because I did not charge my device. So I was a little bit late coming on because I was trying to get as much battery life as possible. But I mean, we figured it out by propping it up. I have it propped up with a piece of selenite, and I have it propped up with a tin that says "Give it to God," and so God's holding up the iPad right now. I think that's pretty cool. It allowed us to get through the meditation. I love you. Lots of love to you. So remember, my schedule is Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Mountain. So those are the times, 10 a.m. on Saturdays, 7:30 p.m., both Sunday and Wednesdays. Those are the live schedules. On Sundays and Wednesday evening, it's 7:30 p.m. Mountain time. But on those times, we are doing embodied spirituality. Sundays, I do a check-in on the energies of the week. And then on Saturdays, we do embodied spirituality. We talk about healing. We talk about awakening. We talk about ascension. We talk about all kinds of things surrounding healing and awakening. But on Saturdays, we get together because we're doing the global meditation. So it's all about returning to your center. And after we return to our center, then sending out peace, unity, truth, and love to the collective and raising the harmonic of all willing beings. So if you're into all of that stuff, then join me Saturday at 10 a.m. Mountain, Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Mountain, and Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Mountain. Otherwise, check me out in the membership spaces available at Sha'Ryah. Temple of Light is free, Balanced Self Sanctuaries for healing, and the Embodied Leadership Circles for awakening. They're both the same price. Both get 2 lives, lots of content. And if you join, I'll see you there. But I'm going to head off now because it's that time. I love you guys. I'm going to end the streams now, guys. I will see you in the next one. Check out the replay, though. And remember, anytime that you do the meditation, you're adding your energy to it. So it's not about doing it right at the same time. Do the replay. Love you.